Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Inspirational Portal, a tea time inspirational TV where real life challenges meet practical solutions, where we bring on amazing guests to share valuable insights, success stories, not just for ourselves but for you to become a better version of yourself in society. And as usual, I'm still your host, Krista Ivendi. So on today's episode of Inspirational Portal, we are going to delve into a topic that has not been really something that we talk about, but through some inspirational TV have decided to bring it on to clear a lot of misconceptions about this particular topic. And this topic is all about crossing borders, navigating immigration complexities. And on today's guest is one who has a very good understanding of immigration for years and decades to come. Also a filmmaker and an amazing worshiper to spice everything up. So in the person of Ojoma Obaje Zainab
Thank you
at
so much for
Isam
having me.
Inspirational TV. So, our amazing viewers, on today's topic, we are going to ask very crucial questions. So, first of all, we want to know more about you and what you do.
Okay, where do I start from? Like you said, my name is Ojoma Zainab Obaje. A lot of people call me OJ. Yeah, I'm from Kogi State. I was born in Zaria, Kaduna State, and um, I studied theatre and performing arts in school, and then proceeded to um, filmmaking. And yes, like you said, I'm a worshiper. Yeah.
Okay, that's really amazing. I think that's quite very straightforward and easy to relate with. So, the only thing you didn't mention is the immigration part, but anyways, we're going to go into that. Could you tell us more about immigration, what immigration is all about, like beyond the surface of how we see immigration as just moving from one place to another, because that's what the layman understands from that. But please, could you tell us more about what immigration is all about?
Actually, a very broad topic. It's a very deep one, actually, and beyond packing your bags to leave a place or to leave a country and move to another country, there are lots of things that people need to know and people need to do before moving. And most times, people just get excited about the movement and about what people say or how people see them when they move from one place to the other. And for me, based on experience, it's way deeper than that. Um, People move for different reasons. Okay, let me start from um, the word immigration itself. Immigration, um, depending on the perspective you're looking at it from, there's immigration as a body. That in different countries you have the immigration, the do I call do I call it the organization now or
I think body is much
the
better.
body the body let's leave it
Yeah.
at body. So you have that in every country, and when you get into that country, it is the immigration that checks you basically for
Mm.
certain reasons. You know, they check to see if you're eligible to come into the country
Yeah.
and all of that. So they do all of that. There's immigration as moving from one country to another
Another.
to stay permanently.
Yeah.
And there's also a side which is emigration, but that's basically the exit point. So you're leaving a country and then immigration also now, not as a body now, is coming into a country. So it sounds complex, but it's quite simple. So now moving forward, beyond leaving a place to another place to go and maybe work or live there permanently,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, there are a lot of things people need to do. Starting from research, you need to know where you're going. You need to know what you're going to do. You need to know how you're going to execute what you're going to do. But we just have people leaving a country and getting excited about going to a new place. And when you ask them certain questions, they can't even answer you. Why are you traveling? I just want to go. I just want to jackpot. I'm tired of staying in this country. I just want to jackpot. I just want to spend dollars. I just want to spend pounds. I just want to spend euros. I just want to spend yen. You know, like, and it's just, it sounds exciting. It sounds um, nice, but it's way deeper than that. And this is coming from experience. Although when you ask people who know me, they would say, "But you just stayed in one particular country, so why are you talking this way?" But that particular country I stayed in, actually, it was supposed to be a journey of 6 months, which
Mm.
ended up to be a journey of 4 years. And in those
Wow.
4 years, after the first year, the remaining 3 years became so I'm a very God person, and I don't do
Yes.
it because I just want to do it. I do
Yeah.
it because it's me, it's who I am. So, and based on experience and my journey in life. So um me staying in that country, God led me to knowing things on a very, very, very deep level, or I would say on deep levels, because various things, and I began to wonder, and I began to ask questions. And sometimes those answers do not come
Yes.
until I experience. So I can ask a question. I'm like, God, why is this like this? Or why does this happen to people when they travel or when they get involved with this and that? And then he keeps quiet and it's like he didn't hear me. And then he lets me go through that experience. And I'm like, okay, so this is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. So I had the opportunity to travel from that country to 4 other countries, and I saw the difference in, I would say, culture, but very similar because it was still within Europe.
Yeah.
And um, I saw a lot of people like me. When I say people like me, I mean people from Africa, people from other continents, not just the black people.
Mm.
So it's way beyond race, meaning color now, and
Mm-hmm.
all of it. It's way beyond that. So I saw a lot of people who came from different continents into Europe, and then who were facing similar issues. And although the way they responded to those issues were quite different, and I believe it's based on background, based on um, perception, based on how we see things, as individuals and all of that, and the God factor, because in fact that should be the number one factor
Mm.
actually, because a lot of people will tell you different things about God, but
Mm.
God is God. God is God. So through all of that, I got to learn a whole lot about the immigration system, and like I said, meeting people from other places
Yes.
in that same place, because it was a mix of cultures, mix of races, mix of a whole lot. And I saw people for who they really are. And when we see things in the movie is the movie,
Yeah. They
you know,
romanticize a lot.
a lot. Fiction is fiction.
Yeah.
We have documentaries that tell you about real life situations and all of that, but I don't think some of those documentaries do enough.
Mm.
So you experiencing certain things lets you know the real truth behind a whole lot. So
Mm.
um, I don't know. This immigration thing is very personal to me, and
Some really is just your
yeah,
experience that
it's yeah,
opened the door for you to understand what
yeah.
immigration is all about, and that's a very good one because like they say, you can't really understand something except you experience that. So
Mm-hmm,
you are in a better position to tell how that particular thing is, right?
mm-hmm,
And this is something that a lot of people do not understand. A lot of people who want to go move from one country to another do not really understand. And I think it's a call out to all our viewers that it's always important to take experiences more seriously. That whatever experience you're having is a channel for you to know something better and do something much better. If you are doing something backhandedly, then do it front end, right? So moving on from this particular conversation, there's a lot of misconceptions about immigration. For example, I think I hear misconceptions that immigrants are going to take jobs from the native born. I heard misconceptions like immigrants they control the economy in that particular country. So I don't know if you've heard such misconceptions, but if you have, like, could you help us address it?
When you say things like immigrants come to take jobs from people, immigrants come to take or fight for positions with the
Yes.
native bonds. Why do you think that should even be um, a topic of discussion? Now, there's a way people view people from outside. There's a way people carry themselves. There's a way people present themselves. Presentation may not actually be the real thing. So I can package myself today and tell you, oh, or just present myself in a certain way and tell you, oh, this is who I am, but this is not really who I am.
Yes.
So now, going back to the question, let me use, I don't know if I want to call countries, but let me just,
Mm.
okay, let me say, for instance, you go to a country X, you go to that country and then you realize that because of the policies they have, because of the rules, okay, let me leave it at policies.
Mm.
Because of the policies they have, you find the native bonds, not in all cases, not 100%, but
Yes.
a very large amount of them
Yes.
acting in a certain way because of these policies. So when you find people say things like, whether or not I work, the government will still support me.
Yes.
So they are just there. And then it gets to a point where people start to have this kind of ideas. They start to, brood this kind of ideas. And then it begins to spread like wildfire.
Mm.
And then it gets to a point where they don't have, maybe from a certain age group to a certain age group, you can't find people who are ready to work um, in certain industries or in certain
Mm.
areas in that um, nation. And then they begin to think, how do we, because we do not want to fall as a nation, we do not want to suffer certain things. So how do we go about it? Then they
Mm.
begin to look outside. And then they create policy that brings people in
Mm.
and all of that. But even when they do that, um, I don't think they would give room for, let's say, 60-40. 60 meaning outsiders taking 60, then the native ones taking 40.
Mm.
No matter how much they let people come in, they will still want their people to,
Yes.
but in some cases, it's very difficult because they can't find people to fit in. So they let
Yes.
people come in. So in that kind of situation, you don't blame the government if they do that because they do not want even those people who are complaining to suffer.
Yeah.
And then who will do the job? Someone
That's
has to do
true.
something. So that's why they let people come in. But there's also an aspect of um, those coming in. If you're coming in and you're coming to do something specific, then you're sure that okay, this is what is bringing me here, and this is what I've come to do. Sometimes there are situations that arise, and then you have to change career path, or you
Yeah.
have to switch due to, I would say, reasons personal to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we have people moving without purpose, people moving without reason, people moving without instruction. They just move because they want to move, and that's where the problem is. Because for people like that, there's no purpose, there's no reason, there's no. The only push is I just want to earn something,
Yeah.
something tangible, and that kind of life is a very risky one
Very.
because in that kind of situation, you find people moving and maybe earning well from what they're doing, but there's no satisfaction, there's no fulfillment, and then that alone pushes you into um, a situation where you may not recover from if God doesn't help you.
Yeah.
You find people working but depressed. You find people earning well but going through serious mental issues. And you're wondering, why would this person be going through this? But there's no fulfillment.
Yes.
And that's the thing. So, and as a person, when you're doing something without fulfillment, it's really risky.
Yeah.
It's really bad because you may think it's life, just leave it. But with time, you get to realize that it's beyond that.
Mm.
So that's where people suffer when
Yeah.
they go out without purpose, without reason. They just want to travel.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but
Mm-hmm.
like I said, the God factor. If God has not sent you to a place,
Yeah.
I can assure you, it will not be that easy for you.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, probably
And
God
one
is.
thing with God, He will allow you roam around till you're tired
Yeah, then you
and
come back
waste
to
your
Him.
time.
Yeah, because He
So,
will give you. It's always an open door. Even for salvation, is an open door. I'll say it's a door for
mm,
you to open or not.
mm,
So, do you accept Christ? Okay, yes. No, then He stays back.
yeah.
So, even for movement, just like if you want to study immigration, study Abraham.
Yeah.
Study Abraham,
Exactly.
his family, his life, his father, then you will understand what immigration is. And through my process,
Mm,
God sent me back to go and study about Abraham, and I was like, oh my God, okay, now I see. It's deeper than what you
yeah.
think it is.
I think that's a very beautiful one. And I think from what you have mentioned, it's very, summarily what we are trying to see is move with purpose. Don't just move because you feel like it is the best thing for you at this point to move. There are times that things will be getting wrong in your life. There are times that you feel like, oh, the economy, especially here in Nigeria, is not so favorable. And the first thought to know is, oh, let me begin to pursue my visa, let me begin to leave. I'm seeing people making it out there. No, don't move because they are moving. But if you do not have a leading, like you said, from the God factor, from God, you don't have a leading, then you're going to waste your time. So there's this also an issue going on recently that has to do with King Charles III. I think he promulgated a policy now for the Canadian visa where they are going to cut down people who immigrants from coming to Canada,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a very big problem for them. Now I'm saying this because you mentioned something about policy, and this policy is a very, I think it's even where the burden is on, because it's a very large barrier for a lot of people to travel out. So I would love for you to highlight some of these policies and how you think it's possible to address them. Policies that affect people basically from, moving, and how you think in a way it's kind of compatible, or what such people that are facing this type of policies should do.
Every country has its policy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to immigration, you cannot determine for the country what should be done and what should not be done, most
Mm,
especially when you're not a citizen.
mm,
And most times, even when you're a citizen, it's the government actually. Although we have situations where
mm.
they listen to the people and then um, they try to make things easy for the citizens of
Okay.
such countries. But that's why I talked about purpose, because if a nation rises and says, because of so and so reason, we want to cut down this particular, um, um, okay, the issue of immigration now,
Mm,
bringing people in, we want to cut down the amount of people who come in, the number of people who come in. We want to go through this route. We want to get creating these new routes for people to come in. They're doing this, like there's always one thing
yes.
or the other. And for countries like Canada, Canada is a very big place,
Yes.
and there are places where they want people to fill in. But in as much as they're doing that, they wouldn't want the people coming from outside to outnumber the actual
Yes.
indigenous of,
Citizens.
yeah,
Yes.
of those countries. So that's why when they let the borders open, say for 2 3 years afterwards, they think, okay, we've let this amount of people come in. Um, how many um, how many native born Canadians do we have? So let's say we have 10 million. How many outsiders do we have, or immigrants do we have?
Mm-hmm.
We have, say, 9.5 million. And if they have 9.5
5
million,
million
so that means the ratio is
is
almost
almost the same.
100 over 100, say
Mm,
95 or 90. Yeah, let's just say
yeah.
95% or 97.5%. And now, they would look at the situation, and then they would probably do a census and say, okay, when we look at people from say age 45 to 70, we have not so many people left. So we have more youth than we have older people than children are. So they just do all of
Yeah.
that and then they check and then they say, okay, let's hold on this immigration thing. It's not like we won't let people come in, but let's reduce the number so that we can regulate things. We don't let like um, too many people come in because when people come in, sometimes people are faced with the issue of losing jobs or not even having a job, depending on the route you use to
Yeah.
come into the country. So they do not want a situation whereby people come in and they are just there. So you're coming in, but what are you coming to do? Are you coming to work? What kind of work? What kind of job do you have?
Mm.
Okay, this. Okay, we have indigenous who can do this, so close down the stuff. We need people to do, let's say, the nursing now. We have less Canadians who are interested in nursing, so let's allow foreigners to come in who are nurses, registered nurses, certified nurses to come in. Okay, we need more doctors. Okay,
Mm.
let's let doctors come in. Okay, we need engineers. Let's close down the medical path and then let engineers come in. So they really know, they take their time, they do their checks and they make sure um, they don't overshoot. And then in the case where they have overshot, they would now close it down for a while and
Yeah.
then let the balance take its course. Then they now let people in again. So it's but those kind of things happen in countries where you have people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. Speaking of that as well, there's an issue that most immigrants have, that people now that finally settled in those countries, but they have a problem of adaptability. Now, how is it going to be able for them to adapt? Because there's some people that they're not used to that kind of environment. So, first of all, from your own personal experience, how are you always able to adapt when you've gone to these different countries? There are different policies, different environments, different energy from different people. So how are you able to adapt? And how can others as well be able to adapt?
Okay, so this particular topic is, I'll say it's a serious one.
Mm.
So, depending on the country where you're going, for me, I had to learn the language.
Okay.
I'm good with languages, so it was a bit easy for me. I'm saying a bit because if I say it was easy for me, I'll be lying.
Mm.
It was a bit easy for me because I'm good with languages, and so I was able to um, adjust
Find your way
a bit
around it.
fast. But for some people, it's difficult. Some of the words in the language you can barely pronounce. So for some people, it was quite difficult. So now you need to know where you're going and the challenges you might likely face when you get to where you're going.
Mm.
Then you ask yourself questions. Am I ready to, okay, you already speak English. Do I want to go to an English speaking country, or do I want to go to a country where I need to learn a language? Now, if you need to learn a language, how long does it take to learn the language to a certain level? So you have A1, you have A2, you have B1, B2, and C2 for most countries. I think that
Mm.
you need to learn languages. So if it's a French-speaking country, I think it's the same thing. German,
Yes.
the same thing, and all of that. So um, there are questions you need to ask yourself before you just go. You don't. That's why I said you don't just move
Mm.
because everybody is moving, or because you're under pressure to air. Because you might get to the place and then it's so difficult for you to adapt. It's so difficult for you to settle in. There are very wonderful policies that are people friendly, women friendly, men friendly, citizen friendly, immigrant friendly. And you're like, wow, this is awesome. But the time you get there, you will know
Yes.
and you will understand. So, in as much as these policies are there, do you understand them? And to speak a language is different from reading and understanding the language.
Language.
So you get letters, for instance, every week from different places. So that from the clinic, even if you're not sick, just come and do checkups. Can you read that letter and understand it? Yeah, because for instance, I had to learn German. German is German. So for you to read that letter, because for me, there was a situation where I got a letter and I was able to read to a certain point, and I'm like, you know what, these words, so I used the Google Translate. And then I said, no, let me give it to a friend's daughter who was born there and who knows the language. So she read through and she was like, yeah, this is it. But she didn't tell me the ending part. And just the
Okay.
last paragraph, which was a very short paragraph, was what landed me in trouble
Oh my
because
gosh.
I didn't get that part, which was the most important part of the letter. And I needed to respond to that letter within a time frame, which I did not know because I didn't get the explanation for that. So you see, that's one factor. So how much energy do you have to put into learning a new language? Because learning a language is beyond speaking it. You have to speak, you have to read, you have to write, you have to hear. In fact, listening is very difficult
Yeah.
because when they speak and they're quite fast.
Yeah.
So when they go and you're like, sorry. So when they get slow, you say, oh, okay,
This
this is
was
what you're
what
actually
you're
saying.
saying.
So it's one aspect of it. Then you go to the policies. You see wonderful policies. So most times people get to know about the wonderful policies, but do not get to know about those other ones that have certain clauses that you need to be sure about before you get yourself involved in certain things.
So it has been an amazing conversation so far with you. And to wrap it up, we want you to give a form on, would I say word of advice, but not necessarily word of advice, but your general thoughts to people, not just people who want to migrate to another country, but your general thoughts to every single person listening on Teach and Inspirational TV.
So in whatever you do, just make sure that God approves of it. Make sure God approves of it, and make sure He partners with you in everything you do. Because without God in the picture, you would most likely ruin
Yeah,
your life or um, whatever you're doing, maybe business or whatever.
yeah.
So let God lead you, let God guide you, and let Him help you to.
This is actually a very power-packed conversation, not just you dish out information about immigration, but you also dish out a very, religious principles that apply to all religions, right? Because we're all worshiping the same God and we all have the same personal requests regardless, right? So this is a very good call out to all our viewers that it's always important for you to have the truth, know the truth, know what your truth is. Don't say this is my truth, but the truth should have a foundation and that foundation should start from God, right? So every single thing that you're doing boils down to all we've been saying, having a purpose. And when you have a purpose, then you fulfill. So integrating into immigration, when you have a purpose to leave a particular place to go somewhere, you help you to be more fulfilled. And how does that help you to be fulfilled? It will give you direction on the kind of job to do. You realize that you're in a particular country and your neighbor is complaining of how bad his country is treating them. But you on the other hand, you're asking yourself, I'm not experiencing the same thing. Like I don't feel the same heat as much as you are feeling. That is because you are under a particular covenant where you are not allowed to experience certain things that other people are experiencing. Realize that we always bring up these conversations because it is a faith-based and kingdom-centered program, right? Where every single information that we give out to you is not just because we want to give you value based on knowledge, but we want to give you value that will give you kingdom ideas to not just become better versions of yourself physically, but also spiritually, because every single thing within society has a spiritual impact. So this will help you to be more better, more advanced, and then to know more on what you should not do. And now for people out there who are thinking of going to one country, who feel like they have found their purpose and that's good for you, and if you want to get more information that would guide you, because we've always mentioned this on our program that it's good to have a mentor, that no matter what you are doing, always have someone to look up to physically, and that would really help you. So if you're looking up to that person to give you more ideas, more information, so that you will not end up losing out or losing your money to the wrong people, because I know most times there are always monetary values on people are processing their
Yeah,
visa and all of that. And most times I hear of people that are being scammed and because of ignorance. So if you need such guidance, you can reach out to us at Tea Time Inspirations TV, and you can reach out to me, Zainab, to guide you, even if she will collect money from me, but but still, the knowledge is really important for you to make the right decisions that would not affect you negatively. And on today's episode, we have really understood what immigration is all about, how to go into it, the steps to take, and we corrected a lot of misconceptions. And we even give an analogy of Canada cutting down people coming into their countries. And Ms. Zainab has given us a proper breakdown on how this is done so that you will not go there shading Canada and saying, oh, Canada is bad, or Canada is this, Canada is that, or any other country aside from Canada. Now you understand why they do some certain things. The reason why we don't experience this in Nigeria is because we do not have proper direction from our leaders, right? But at the same time, maybe we'll cut that out. But we do not have proper direction. But at the same time, it is good for us to understand that these particular policies that are put in place is to help you even enjoy better benefits in that particular country. So on today's episode, we'll have more time to give you more details. If you need to ask for more questions, you can send us a message at our website at eternalcast.org. You need to reach us personally. You can also send us a message at teasam@gmail.com. And then to follow us on more updates and more episodes to come, you can follow us on the social media handles showing on your screen. And as usual, I'm still your host, Krista Ivendi, and we are always here to give you valuable insights that would help you to be very intentional about the version of yourself you have now and for the future. And then our amazing guest remains Miss Zainab Ojoma
Obaji.
Opache. I wanted you to say the end instead of doing what I. So thank you so much for being on
Thank
this
you so much
episode.
for having me.
We really enjoyed it, and I personally as well have learned a lot about immigration, so that I won't go out there speaking things that are not true about immigration. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to have more conversations with you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to our amazing viewers for always being there. Future Inspirational TV, we truly appreciate your presence, and we believe that we keep serving you to give you more better, valuable insights. Until then, bye for now.